Welcome everybody to I almost said my segment. Welcome to Wealth for Generations. Hello everybody. We are on episode 26 today. We're getting up there to those 20s. Next thing you know, we'll be in the 30s, catching up to my age. Uh but I look good for my age, I think. So today we have quite the interesting guest. Today she is almost made it through all the podcasts. Soon enough, we'll have her on Habari Live,
Right.
and she'll hit up all the podcasts. But I originally met our guest, Miss Nohemi, on Patrick's show, which was you were on the Mom and Pop,
Mom and Pops.
the Mom and Pop podcast. So if you guys get a chance, make sure you check out Mr. St. Patrick's podcast called the Mom and Pop Spot podcast, and that's originally where me and Miss Nohemi met. But just to let our viewers know, what is it that you actually do, Miss Nohemi?
Okay. My name's Noemi.
Noemi.
It's
Oh, I'm sorry.
pronounced Noemi.
I'm sorry.
It's
We were
pronounced
talking
Noemi.
about
And
the.
I'm only saying it because we're just talking about the way I spell it.
Yes,
But
yes. That's why it's like
pronounced Noemi.
Noemi.
And
Okay.
I always tell people, just think
It's
about
Noemi.
annoy me. Noemi. So it's Noemi Beer Walter, and I'm with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty.
Okay. So you're a realtor.
Yeah.
And then if anyone is looking for any homes or a realtor or anything like that, is there any way they can contact you?
Definitely through my email, noemi.beerwalter@russlyon.com, or call me directly, 602-475-1719.
So you work
Awesome,
with
awesome.
Russ Lyon?
I sure do.
Wow, I know
Are
I
you
know who
familiar?
they are. Yeah, I'm very familiar. My one of my exes used to work there for a long time. Man, she did a lot of stuff for Russ Lyon. So you're in the Scottsdale location?
I am in the West Valley location, and it is a global international
Yeah,
realty
man,
agent
they're
office.
they're huge.
Oh, nice.
very
nice.
very high end clientele. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Yeah,
And
man.
being international, you just cannot stop the business. I
Yeah,
was
man.
recently in Mexico City, and I got the privilege to be
Right.
out there
Oh,
to their
nice.
offices. Very
Nice.
beautiful.
Yeah, they're some very up there people. They got a lot of money. When you probably seen their realtor signs. They're
Mhm.
usually all black with the gold lion on them.
They
You know what I
stand
mean?
out.
yes,
It's
yes.
blue.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
blue.
yeah,
Yeah,
blue.
is it a
Yeah,
blue?
it's
I
a
always thought it
blue.
was a black.
No, it's
Wow.
a deep,
It's
like
a deep navy
blue.
blue. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm usually good at that because I love my blues. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, they really have really nice signs with the gold on it, and you can really tell it's theirs because it's really
Actually,
high
now,
quality. When you see it, you
now that you
know it's
bring up the
Russ Lyon.
logo, it does seem
Yeah,
familiar.
man, they're really high quality, man.
I'm just not personally there yet. I'm not. I want to though, but I will be talking to you when I get there. That's one of my next steps in the next few years is
Yeah,
trying to
but
get into a house.
So what
Make
you
it a
guys?
goal.
What are you guys right now? You probably still one of the best realtor companies in the city,
It's
right?
one of the number ones in the
Yeah,
state of
yeah,
Arizona,
definitely.
and definitely nationally as
Yeah,
well.
man, they're up
Nice,
there, bro.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
That's cool to work
Awesome.
there. That's dope.
And
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
because of the name and who they are with the
Mhm.
Sotheby's, is if
Yep,
you're
Sotheby's
if
another
you're
one.
international and you are in another country and
Yeah.
say I want to come to Arizona, who are you going to call?
Yeah, you're gonna
Mhm.
call Russ
You're
Lyon.
going to call
definitely.
someone that's very trustworthy, have the knowledge to do what
For real.
they're trying to
Awesome.
do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great,
dope.
great. Yeah, I didn't realize there was a. I mean, I did notice the connection of a company, but I didn't realize it was such a big company.
Oh, it's
That's
man,
awesome.
Yeah,
they're-
Russ Lyon just celebrated 75 years
Yeah,
in
75
business.
years.
Yes.
Man, you got to be
And
doing something right. If
Definitely.
you hitting 75 years.
over 900
That's-
agents. They're doing something right
Ooh.
in Arizona. Yeah.
Nice. So today's show, though, if you guys have been following along with the last few episodes, I've been researching certain characteristics that entrepreneurs have. So we've gone through being able to be flexible. Was the last one, flexibility. The first one was persistence, which me and Dip both agree. Well, Dip said number one.
Yeah.
I say top three, but I haven't fully said. I think I might end up putting it in number one. But
Mhm.
just to be safe, I was saying top three on persistence. Flexibility is really important as well. I wouldn't say it's a top three though. But today we're going to be talking about risk taking, which I think should be another top three because just starting the entrepreneur journey is a risk in itself
Mhm.
for a lot of people because a lot of people, especially these days, they don't necessarily have any type of background to relate to it before they jump into it. Now, but I think you mentioned that's kind of all you know.
Yeah.
as far as working is just entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. I've been working since the age of 10.
10?
My mom had me working. Summer, I got a choice. You go to your grandma's in Mexico and run the store. It's a little candy store and snow cones. Or you go with your aunt and go clean offices at night. I had that. That was my choice on come summer. So my
So
mom
you went
always
with the candy, right?
Yeah.
Being young.
Well, being in Mexico, my parents being in Phoenix, I was like, I was away.
Like, let's get away. We can get away and go buy
Grandma
candy and
loves me.
stuff. Right.
So I always had odd jobs and
Mhm.
just learning. And I had my 9 to 5 job as well. But I did get to see in every employment that I had opportunities to just go to the next
Mhm.
and go to the next and continue to grow. But yeah, what I know as an adult
Mhm.
is entrepreneurship because
Entrepreneurship.
I want to branch out. So I did.
Mhm.
And it was one of the best things I could have done in my life.
Mhm.
And risk taking was one of those.
Definitely.
I didn't go into it blindsided,
Mhm.
educate myself, whatever it is, what it was, my next move was going to be, being just educated in that and
Mhm.
then taking the leap.
Right.
'Cause
And actually, that's kind of what I was going through when I doing the research for this episode. Is there's certain levels to the risk taking. There's a type of risk takers like a lot of people are listening to Steve Harvey nowadays about just taking the leap, just jumping, just go for it. You have that kind of risk taking, and then you have the educated risk taking, like you're saying. You want to get in, you want to educate yourself in the field first, and then learn a few things, and then you take that risk to go out on your own, which is still kind of a risk
Yeah.
in itself. Even pursuing it, even though you do have the education, but pursuing it is the actual risk in that sense.
Yeah.
So, but that's good. You took the well, I don't want to use that word because it makes it. I think it kind of pulls. I was going to say the safer risk,
Yeah.
but I feel like that kind of takes away using the safe word.
Yeah, it wasn't so much of a safe. It's just that my next move, I don't have much room for error.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said I had to educate myself, I really had to look back and see what are the pros and cons of what I'm about to do,
Mm-hmm.
and always asking for support. Whether it's a mentor or someone that's already there. I did a lot of homework and education before doing that because this risk I'm about to take, if it fails, this opportunity is not missed. I will have it again. However,
Mm-hmm.
at what point?
Right. Like it could come full circle, but
yeah.
it could take 2 months.
Yeah.
It could take 10 years.
That's right. Yeah.
You never know. Exactly. That's good though. So that's what I was saying. I didn't want to necessarily put the safe word on it because I feel like it takes away from how important it is to just go with the risk. And it's not necessarily. There's no way to really make it safe.
Yeah.
If it's a risk, there's chance of failure no matter what.
That's true.
So I have a couple questions, or actually, I'm sorry. We're gonna do the health is wealth first. Get this guy out of the way. So with every episode, I have my health is wealth. Sorry, all these pop-ups just came out of nowhere. So health is wealth. Today we're talking about risk taking and trying new things to help your brain stay healthy is what we're going to be focusing on for the health is wealth. The Health is Wealth segment is brought to you by Moss Boss Organic Gel Enriched Sea Moss. Get your order of sea moss ASAP. You can contact Jessica Marrero on Facebook at Jessica with one S .Marrero or on IG at Moss Boss Original Gel Organic Gel. Or you can email her at mossbossog@gmail.com. So trying new things can help your brain stay healthy. We all know the importance of exercise and movement for our bodies, whether it's to support cardiac health or to build muscle strength. Our bodies need to be taken care of, and the brain is no exception. It's important to keep your brain healthy, and there are easy ways to achieve that. As as with any part of the body, we need to maintain our brain health and try new things. And trying new things can help us just do that. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Would you agree?
100%.
How about you, Dip? Would you agree with that? Trying new things keeps your brain healthy?
Most definitely, man.
Most definitely.
I think so.
Yeah, being uncomfortable,
Right.
It means you're doing it right.
Right.
You're only used to one thing, and so when you start implementing new things in your life as a routine,
Mm-hmm.
it shakes you up a bit.
It does. It does.
I didn't have this feeling before, but now I want to do this again.
Right. It releases that when you do it, and you you try something new and you're like, hey, I like that. You get that little rush of dopamine,
Mhm.
gets released, and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. So, in order to keep our brains healthy and functioning, it's important to develop new brain cells. New brain cells can have connections with the other brain cells, and as a result, form new pathways throughout your brain. And I think what they're trying to say is basically you can tap into different parts of your brain that you might not have been able to tap into before.
Mhm.
So, I believe I left it in here, but one of the things that they say is it doesn't always have to be completely new. It could be doing the same thing in a different way. Like, for instance, if you're left-handed or you're right-handed, you go down to eat your dinner, try doing it with your non-dominant hand for once. And that can activate new brain cells and new ways of thinking and things of that nature. New brain cells can have, oh, I just read that part. These new cells and pathways are critical to supporting brain health and essentially act as an exercise for your brain. With new pathways, you might see patterns. This is what I was talking about. You might see patterns that you would not otherwise see. You may be faster at processing things. In addition to new pathways, it's also important to maintain existing pathways, which is where tasks like crossword puzzles can come in handy. Although getting outside of your comfort zone, just like you were saying, is more important for your brain health. So basically, what this is saying is if you're a little timid about trying new things and you don't really want to get out there and take the leap, you can start small. And if you like wearing high heels every day, maybe try a week of wearing flats. It could be small little things, and then you build up to that.
So your feet will thank you for that.
What was I'm sorry?
Your feet will thank you for
Yes,
at least
yes.
us ladies.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an avid high heel wearer or anything like that, but I've seen those arches and I know that makes a difference.
You're so right. And when doing something that you're used to, whether you get used to it as a routine and it just gets stale, changing it up
Hmm.
does a lot. For myself, I've been in a morning practice for at least 3 years now, and I'm not religiously doing it as I would love to do it, but
Hmm.
tweaking certain things just to make it easier. For example, to work out in the mornings.
Hmm.
I don't want to wake, especially with the nice cool air. It's nice and comfy under the covers.
Oh yeah.
And I just rather stay there, but then I just start stretching. I wake up.
Like stretching in the
I
bed
stay
or
in bed
just
and I stay in bed and the covers stretch out and wake up.
that's in
Don't stay in that sleep,
right,
comfort,
right.
and then just get up and go. Get up
Hmm.
and do your morning routine, brush your teeth and all that, and then wake up. It's
Yeah.
easier for me to wake up versus having to put the alarm on, getting out, and then stretching out.
Right,
For
right.
myself, that small thing of just doing it in bed
And that's a good one
helps.
too, because I'm definitely one of those people during the wintertime. I do not wanna get out of bed because you gotta get through that transition of the cold from getting out of the covers and all that stuff. I might take that one from you.
Yeah.
And any of you other people out there who aren't really big winter fans, that's a good one. That's a gem. Take note. You can stretch out in your bed under the covers still before you start your day. And stretching is actually one of the easiest and best exercises you can do and incorporate in your life.
One of the most difficult ones at times too. If you
Right.
yoga is a form of stretching.
Yes,
Do
yes.
10 minutes of that. You'll be sweating.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're
Definitely.
holding a pose. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Because I've never fully got into it, but, I used to do planking a lot, which isn't necessarily stretching or yoga, but when you're trying to hold that pose, just like in a yoga session, you're holding that pose for however long, and that's how I would do it. Every time I do it, I try to go just a little bit longer. So one day would be 30 seconds, the next day would be like 45, and then 50, and just trying to gradually build up, and then you're sitting there and you're shaking, and you're
Holding your pose. Hold it.
but I always like planking because it kind of incorporates almost every muscle in your body when you get into those higher numbers, everything starts getting activated. So how exactly are new brain cells generated? Luckily, it doesn't require tremendous effort. The act of learning new things, the act of experiencing something new can all generate new brain cells and new pathways. Whether you attempt to learn a new language, take up crocheting, or learn how to garden, engaging in new tasks is important for your brain. In addition to new things, doing something that's typical for you, but in a different way. This is kind of what I was saying, what we were talking about. Um, Doing them in a new way also can create new brain cells and new pathways. For example, eating with your non-dominant hand or putting on a tie in the dark with your eyes closed, which that's a feat in itself. I mean, every time I'm not an avid tie wearer, so every time I put on a tie, I got to YouTube it again. But I'm getting better. I YouTube to the knot part. Like I know this part, and then you got that part, and then it's always mess up on the knot. Essentially, the more you can recruit different parts of your brain to even simple activities, the better it is for your brain now and better for your long-term brain health. Whether you're trying something new or something old in a different way, it's important to have activities that maintain that. Gosh, it's important to try activities that strengthen your brain health. And that is going to be the health is wealth segment for today. So, just a second. Thank you. Now we're gonna pull this back up, and we're gonna get into some cool questions for Miss Nohemi.
Noemi.
Nohemi. I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna mess that up a couple more times, so I'm just gonna apologize like 5 times right
I
now.
guess no Amy is the best way. No Amy.
Nohemi.
Noemi.
No Amy.
No,
No
no,
Amy. That's why I'm
Nohemi.
looking at it. Just say no Amy.
Noemi.
When I go to
Right.
say it now it's stuck. Like I envision it spelled out now, so that's why I keep saying it wrong.
Right.
And how we were talking about with the Nohemi. And I'm
Nohemi.
like, and I just keep picturing that now with the little hyphen. So now I'm like, oh, I can't say it right
Nohemi.
now.
It's not Nohemi. It's Noemi.
Noemi. There we go.
That's hard, man.
I think I got it. Okay, so
I'm gonna annoy you.
do you think it is important for entrepreneurs to take risk?
You know, everything's a risk. We had just talked about it.
Yeah.
It really depends what your next move is as to how big of a risk is it. You know,
Mhm.
I think it really is important to take risk because being an entrepreneur, you're now on your own, right?
Right.
You have to make these life decisions, but it could be an investment is
Mhm.
definitely a risk.
Oh yeah.
A marriage, separation,
yeah.
relationships, like everything's a risk on once you take that step. But you know, is it important? I really do think it is important. It just matter what factors you use before taking that leap.
And when you take the risk too is quite important too.
Yeah.
So what type of risk have you taken to get to your current level of success that I know there's got to be a lot since you said you've been out there hustling since you
Yeah.
were 10.
Yeah.
But is there any recent like monumental ones that you can bring up right now?
Not recent. It was definitely the beginning of my life. My big risk taking was to start all over myself.
Mhm.
And leaving a 16-year-old marriage. It
Mm.
was not great. However, my mental health was at risk. And if I wasn't well and right, how can I function for myself? How can I function for my
Correct.
kids? I was in an unhappy marriage. So the biggest risk that I took in my life was standing up for myself and wanting better and more
Mhm.
and leaving that marriage. And it wasn't the greatest. It was not when I say it wasn't the greatest, it wasn't the easiest part to just like right
Just
now, I
stepping
just say
away.
it. I stepped
Yeah.
away. I started my life, and no, there was a lot that came
But it was
along
something
with
that was probably in your head for a few months before you actually
for 2 years.
for 2
Yeah,
years.
we did marriage counseling for 2 years, and during those 2 years, I was there's no progress, there's no gain, there's no positivity out of this,
Mhm.
and so there was that light bulb in my head that I want more. I envision more for myself, but I need to be healthy.
Mhm.
And when I say healthy, I need my mental health to be well. And so when I finally did take that leap, it was the
Mhm.
beginning of my life.
Basically
But
kinda starting
I
over and being
restarted. Yeah, I restarted again. And that was my biggest risk because now I'm a single mother with 3 kids
Mhm.
and nowhere to live. I was
Right.
forced to leave out. So
Oh, that's
that was
tough.
risky for me. Like, where am I going to
Mhm.
go? Can I ask for friends and family to help? Yeah. But I did this on my own. I went
Mhm.
and found housing, and that was my biggest risk. And then forward, I was, what's next?
Right.
What am
What's
I
the
going
next
to do?
step?
And I've ventured in different investments, and I'm proud to say that I'm stable.
Mhm.
Do I want more and do I aspire for more? Yes. But that was my
Mhm.
biggest
That was
risk
your biggest
because that was
risk.
my life, not just my
Right.
career, my kids' life. That was just everything.
And then were you, not to dwell on it too much, but in this past relationship, were you, both working parents, or were you kinda more of a stay-at-home?
No, we're both working parents.
You were?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're both, and he unfortunately had a car accident
Mhm.
that really hindered him to not be able to work in those last 4 years of our marriage.
Oh, so you kind of became the
So I became,
breadwinner in that.
you would have known me back then.
No,
I know.
you're a totally different
I
person.
had no voice then. I was very timid. I was very scared. And it was the marriage.
Mhm.
So for me to stand up to him,
Mm.
and the only way I realized it is that a time that I was the only one bringing in the money is the
Mhm.
fact that, yes, we had a car repossessed. Other than that, I paid the mortgage. I paid the other car bill. I paid absolutely everything. And I'm like, I can do this.
Right,
I'm
right. Like,
doing
I'm
it
already
now.
doing it. I'm already
I
doing
can
it.
do it. So that is where I got that brave of, let's go
Mhm.
and do it. And I didn't need to live like that,
Right,
in that
right.
marriage. And that was a time. It's unfortunate that he had to be in a weak state for me to realize I'm
Mhm.
more than what I'm being told I am. So
Unfortunate for him, but
yeah.
very beneficial for
Yes.
you. Very beneficial for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So, all you ladies out there, it can be done. So, any of you ladies out there that are watching or connected to any of my social media or anything like that, here's your source right here. If you're scared, it's understanding. It's very understanding that it's a scary thing to do. But if you're in a relationship and your mental health is taking a dive or being affected, you have to do what you have to do in order for yourself, and if it's a family, for your kids as well.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying, if your mental health wasn't healthy, then how could you really be there for your children?
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to once you become a parent. It's like you have to be there for your children. You have to be. But
Yeah.
I really
100%. I was molded to be someone I wasn't. So when I
mhm,
started discovering myself and knowing what I'm capable of, I spoke up,
mhm,
and I moved. I picked up my kids and moved. And there's so much in between
mhm.
that we're skipping, but it was rough.
Right,
It
right.
was really rough to just think back where I was at 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, because it wasn't like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day.
No,
This
yeah.
wasn't
My
an
kids have
overnight
their
thing.
stories, and and they're like, "Remember, we used to sleep here," and I'm like, "We had to do what we had to do, and we
Definitely.
got through it as a family." Yeah.
So, as far as entrepreneurship, did you always kinda know that you'd end up in, realty? Or were you kinda
Real
going
es-
somewhere else in the beginning?
Yeah, real estate has always been in my surroundings. My mother was a
Mhm.
loan officer, and with the lending mortgage, and even had her own mortgage company.
Nice,
I
nice.
worked with her for a while. My brother did too. My brother is a real estate agent and a general contractor. I'm a real estate agent. My mom no longer in the lending, but
Oh,
however,
so
we
it's
were
all in the
surrounded.
blood
Yeah.
kinda.
And I can tell you right now, early on, I was driven for the money. Like, oh,
Right.
I can make money. But then as you start nurturing your business and just learning and educating yourself and the benefits that it brings to so many other people, it quickly changed to, I want to help people.
Mhm,
I really want to educate regarding investments and long term rental. Just all these great stuff that's available for everyone. But that was my turning point, because
mhm,
once I got in, it just like any job position you go to, like, who's going to
mhm.
pay me more?
Right, right.
So, like I mentioned, I was driven by that at first, but then it quickly turned into, how can I help you?
That's awesome.
How can I be of service to you? So,
That's awesome, that's awesome. The universe knew you were going places with
yeah,
that because it was already there for you, but you happened to come across your why, your
yeah,
own why of doing it,
yeah,
aside from the money,
yeah,
aside
yeah.
from the
Aside
money.
from the money.
And then also too, I wanted to say I got you some water right there
Okay,
if you'd
thank
like.
you.
That's
Appreciate
that's
that.
all for you because I know I get parched sometimes
Yeah,
with all
I'll
the
take it.
talking. So, I had a second question for you. Or not a second, a third. Sorry, we did first two. In the past, when you've taken risk, well, I partially know this, but in the past, when you taken risk, did you try to plan at all, or did you just take the leap?
I planned it all. I
Planned.
mean, there's nothing wrong with, throwing caution to the wind and just doing it.
Mhm.
In my case, like I mentioned, I don't have room for,
For much
if
error,
yeah,
right?
if I take this risk without any information, someone just asks, I need $10,000 to invest here. We're
Mhm.
gonna make money, and then I just wouldn't be able to. And I
Mhm.
have so much my boys relying on me. So
Mhm.
I was one of those that, well, I asked 100 questions, and
Right.
where's this coming from, and did all my digging, and just before any transaction that I did all my due diligence before taking that
Awesome.
risk. I still took it with,
Right.
but with a lot of information. So.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, because there's some people out there that, like you said, they just throw caution in the wind and they just go for it. And sometimes you can be successful in that realm of going that route. But I honestly believe you and Dip are kind of on the same page. Like Dip also is the type of person who he's not going to fully commit and go with it until he knows some facts and has some
See?
education about it. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I go back and forth. Sometimes I'll just be thinking about it for so long that I get to the point where I just need to go do it.
Do it. Yeah.
But then there's other times where it's like I'm really passionate about it and I'm already learning about it. So then I dive deeper before I take the plunge. But I basically wanted to ask that question for all the viewers out there and let them know that it's okay to go either way. It is a little bit more risky when you don't do your your due diligence and you don't do your research. It is a little bit more risky, definitely. But no matter what, it's still a risk. There's still a chance of failure. It's just the probability may change with more education. So don't be afraid to take a little bit more time and educate yourself before you do actually take your risk.
Yeah. I wanted to put on a little bit add to that is that my situation now is not the same as it was before.
Mhm.
So if I was presented with an offer, a deal right now, like, hey, let's invest in this property.
Mhm.
I no longer I still have my children, but they're
Mhm.
all adults now.
Right.
I'm in a stable position where, okay, if I lose it,
It's fine.
I lost it.
Right.
But this may be big. So,
So you're saying you feel comfortable leaping more often nowadays
yeah.
opposed to when you were basically starting
Yeah.
over.
Just because
that makes sense.
I had a lot of other stuff going on in my life at that time.
Mhm.
Now it's more clear.
Right.
My vision is there as to where I want to be and
Mhm.
where I'm heading. And so when the proposal comes in that matter, I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about it. Let's do it. The numbers make sense. Let's do it. So yeah.
Would you say though that's still not necessarily education, but experience plays into that a little bit?
100%. Yeah. Because at first, the reason I did my education because I didn't have any background in it. So
Right. And you're like, well, I don't
I need to
know.
know. Yeah. So after trial and errors and throughout, 21 years in real estate, I know enough
Mhm.
that I can be a little risky at certain
Oh,
times.
so let's give a round of applause for that. You're 21 years in the business, an adult business now, full-fledged adult, 21 years.
I know, right?
Does it seem that long?
Yeah. No, I started 100% like working in real estate when I was 17 years old,
Oh, wow.
helping other realtors, helping investors, and at 18 I started working for two private investors who taught me the entire game.
Nice.
So, and invested very young also. So that was very helpful for me to know everything that I know now.
Mhm.
And it was in a different sector as to property management and buying commercial and residential and industrial buildings. So it was a whole different avenue than what I'm doing now.
Mhm.
However, that experience at such a young age just helped me create what I have.
Mhm. Yeah. And for all you people out there, take note on that. She said she started when she was 17. Not saying that you got to start that young, but it's good to start young because now you can be like 21 years later, I can look back at it and I am, like you said, you're comfortable
Yeah.
exactly where you want to. Well, maybe not exactly where you want to be, but you're comfortable
Yeah.
enough nowadays.
Yeah. I have a different goals at this time. At that point, I wanted a job. And I told him I was 18. On paper, I wrote
Oh,
down
yeah.
I was 17. He had my information.
Sometimes you
But
got to do what you got to do.
vocally, I just said, I'm 18. I will be sometime this year. But that got me in the door.
Mhm.
And in my case, being fluent in Spanish helped me.
Mhm.
They had one of their supervisors step down, and they interviewed for 2 months. Couldn't find
Oh.
anyone, and then they asked me, the clerko, the phone girl, do you speak Spanish? I'm like, yeah. I guess they just didn't know, and
Mhm.
he's like, you're a new supervisor. So I went from the phone
Dope.
girl to supervisor within 5 months, and
Nice.
I took my job description very seriously,
Very
and I did my
seriously.
best. Yeah, I did beyond what I was supposed to do.
And that's the most important part, especially when you're trying to come up. You have to put in the effort. Like there's a lot of people, I've worked in a lot of different avenues and with a lot of different people, and I feel like I hate to sound like that old guy. I'm doing it more and more often, but the generation under us, they don't want to put in the effort. They want the money, but they don't always want to put in the effort. They don't want to go on the grind and battle through the trenches and put in the extra time that they have to do to build the education. They expect to just walk in and not to say that you're totally lucky, but they want a success story like yours. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I was there. I was 17, 18 years old and they were looking for a supervisor and I became
Yeah.
supervisor.
And it
It doesn't
doesn't
it
work
doesn't
like
always
that
work like that. No.
because I draw that to me myself because of my energy, and they saw what I was
Mhm.
willing to do.
That hard work
And
you were
that
putting in.
word, I kept thinking of a word when you were describing the younger generation, which is entitlement. I
Mhm.
have 18-year-old twins in my house. So I know
Mhm.
exactly. It was as simple as him asking me where you're going today. And I told him I'm going to come and speak at the Wealth for Generations podcast.
Mhm.
And he's like, well, I want to learn how to make money. I said, you do know. And I
Mhm.
started talking to him and he's shaking it. No, I know that. I know. I'm like, I've lived it. You
Mhm.
haven't. You're saying you know what to expect, but you're
Mhm.
not doing it.
Right, right.
So, and you have no money. And he looks at
And
me
you're
like,
telling me you want money,
yeah, and
but
you want money. You
you know
really,
how to do it, but
yeah,
you don't have the money.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I can go on with their point of views on stuff like that,
Mhm.
but it's you have to have the drive,
Mhm.
the clear headed, and the consistency. As we spoke earlier, it's
Mhm.
if you don't have that and you just give up, if it hasn't happened in 10 years, it's going to happen.
Right,
You
right.
have to be consistent.
Persistence, persistence,
Persistent.
persistent,
Yeah,
persistence. Yep, yep. You gotta be consistent and persistent
that's true.
at the same time. So, right now we're gonna get into the next segment of the show, which is the wacky wealth. So, wacky wealth is normally, depending on my guest, I like to do like crazy, crazy stuff. But being that you're my guest today, I wanted to go a different lane and pertaining to the topic of today's show. So today for Wacky Wealth, we're going to talk a little bit about Oprah Winfrey. And if people don't know her background, she is a major risk taker. So she is perhaps the most successful woman entrepreneur in the world. Oprah Winfrey has created a multimedia brand legacy and launched multiple. I knew I was going to mess up this word. Philanthropic. I think I said it right.
Philanthropy.
No, it's
Oh,
it's
I'm not.
PIC. That's what I want to say, but that's not how it was spelled. But she's launched multiple organizations in philanthropy. Philanthropy. I hate that word. You guys know what I'm saying. She does nonprofit and she helps out people. You know what I'm trying to say. You know. During the course of her career, her own television network and media empire, Winfrey's focus on literature, spirituality, and self improvement has paved the way for a new era of confessional media. She was the only African American woman on the Forbes list in 2018, on the Forbes billionaires list in 2018, where her net worth was thought to be about 3 billion at that time. In 2018, it was about 3 billion. Winfrey has fought tooth and nail for every bit of her success, following a turbulent and impoverished childhood in Mississippi and Wisconsin. Winfrey received a full scholarship to Tennessee State University and eventually broke into the television and radio journalism industry. It wasn't until the mid 80s that she decided to risk her financial security by signing a deal to host her own television program, The Oprah Winfrey Show. It went on to become the highest rated program of its kind in history. Winfrey proves that measured risk, measured risk, taking can yield great reward, even if it takes a few tries. Do the thing you think you cannot do, fail at it, try again, do better the second time. The only people who never tumble are those who never mount the high wire, she says. So I'm pretty sure that you can kind of relate to Miss Oprah, being that you said you're more of a or at least in the beginning. Now
Yeah.
you have the experience and you have the wherewithal for it. But in the beginning, you were a calculated risk taker. You had made sure you had the education. You made sure you knew the ins and outs of the situation before you would do any investing. So that's really good. I really, um,
And I like what you just read regarding her way of thinking that if that risk didn't work out, you're
Mhm.
just not going to give up. You're going to
Right, don't give up.
readjust it, educate yourself a bit more, and
Mhm.
do it again.
Just like you were saying too with the, if it hasn't happened in 10 years and you've been trying, just kinda keep going. It's especially when if you hit that 10-year mark. If you're there, like, it's bound to happen. If you're still going, the universe will see your persistence and your consistency, and things will either present themselves or your hard work will eventually pay off, as
Yeah.
they say. Um
And not wait 10 years, if you're really dedicated and your goal is that top priority, you're
Mhm.
reevaluating your business plan on a daily.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
people come into your life on the daily, new information, whatever it is that every day you look at your business plan.
Mhm,
What are you doing today, at what time, and what you're accountable for? And you get it done.
mhm, mhm.
And that's going to shift your business plan and it's just going to continue to evolve. So it won't take those 10 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
10
and 10
years.
ye 10 years, yeah, yeah,
10 days would be amazing.
yeah. Awesome, right? It'd be like, "Oh, man, I got my business right. I'm a multimillionaire already. 10 days took me a week and a half." And then we have another person I'd like to, highlight, Miss Rebecca Alvarez story. This one was really interesting to me because just the industry of alone, let alone that she's a Latin woman, because I appreciate all women entrepreneurs because I feel like it there was not that I feel like there's factuals that it was really, really hard for women to get into the workforce at one point and to be a boss, to be a CEO, be an entrepreneur, have ownership. And it's booming right now. Women are booming right now, and this industry that she's gotten into is almost kind of like a taboo industry. So Rebecca Alvarez story, she is a proud daughter of of Mexican immigrants and also focuses on diversity initiatives that elevate other BIPOC. BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. I had to throw that in there because when I was researching, I was like, what the heck is that? And I'm sure some people out there probably don't know either. But she is trying to elevate other BIPOC in entrepreneurship. She graduated from UC Berkeley with a sexual wellness major that she created and holds a master's degree in sexuality studies, concentrating on sexual desire and arousal. So that's why I picked her, because in public, I feel like it's still somewhat taboo to talk about these things. But she decided to get her master's as as a professor, or not a professor, but as a therapist in sexuality, which is one thing. But then she also doubled back and created a company that helps educate young women, or well, not just young women, but helps educate women on sexual wellness. So that's really cool because, like I said, especially when it comes to women, I feel like it's something that, I mean, you would know better than I
Yeah.
do, obviously, but I feel like not necessarily women. I feel like girls, when you're a young girl, it's really taboo to be public about your sexual thoughts and your activities and your wants and your desires. And she's made it her mission to help make that more of norm and make it comfortable for young teens and women to speak about this. And I just love that. So
At the end of the day, the girls just want to have education on this stuff.
mhm,
Like, you can ask your parents, you can find out to school, but even asking about it, people would assume you're promiscuous or why
mhm,
it's more of this is the norm. This is what
mhm,
we
mhm.
deal with. This
This
is
is
life.
it happens, yeah.
And that's just wonderful for her business. As we were talking about earlier,
Mhm,
she really, it's such a saturated type of business. She spend it into her own.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because it's definitely, they don't think about us when they're coming out with any of these wellness things or
Yeah.
therapy or anything like that, they're not thinking about people of color. They're only thinking about their gains. That's why when you go down the beauty supply, we have a section. It's not like just mixed in with
Yeah.
everything. If you got curly hair or thicker hair, you have this isn't, and it's not even a section. You got one spot for all your stuff. And I'm pretty sure like I'm not too into all that stuff, but I would assume it's the same way if you go into what's one of the places like oh, of course it's gonna blank my head right
Target
now.
or
Well, no, I was gonna say like a one of the like the sex stores or
Oh,
something like that. Yeah,
Fascinations
like a
or yeah.
Fascination, or I wanted to say Fredericks. That's why I stopped, but it's
Oh,
not Fredericks.
Fredericks.
Or
Yeah,
is
that's
that
a
one
no,
too?
that was a
That's a
clothing. That was a lingerie store.
lingerie.
But
That's what it
yeah,
was.
I know what you're
But yeah,
talking
even
about. Yeah.
when it comes to lingerie too, you know what I mean? Because that's still somewhat sexual, you know. So even like at Victoria's Secret or something, you know, colored women are a little thicker than your average Caucasian. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure you go into Victoria's Secret and you can get all these outfits for these better lack of explanation, these flat ass women. You know, there's
There's no
all this
curviness.
lingerie. There's no, yeah, you probably have like a little section like this. It's like if you got boobs, here's your section. If you got a butt, here's your section. Everything else is for these flat women though, you know, like
They don't have your size anytime. But that's what's great with the entrepreneurs is that the need is there and
mhm.
they're seeing that need. So it's just like her. She saw
Yeah.
that avenue of there's 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 an opening for this. Why isn't it there already?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
same thing for lingerie. I see there's so many out there now available for all bodies.
Right,
And
right.
that's because one person said, I'm not signing
Mhm.
up with this anymore.
And yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I do notice it's a little weird thing, I'll admit, but I have noticed that mannequins are working out. I'll just say that. It looks like mannequins are working out, getting those squats in these days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, you know, you'd go to a clothing store and a mannequin would look like these twigs you see on the
Yes.
runway. You know, they didn't have it all for all size of women, you know. And that too, not even just the how should I say the areas that the normal man would like to see,
Mhm.
but there's also plus size mannequins as well. I'm starting to see, you know, not even just um, pertaining to just like that area,
Regular. Yeah.
but just your triple set, your triple not triple, triple X or your double X. You know, not sure if the sizes are the same in women though, so it'd be a number, wouldn't it? Not
Yeah, I would just
necessarily.
continue to duplicate
I
your
don't know what the
triples.
numbers are. Like, I don't want to say a random number and be like super like if you're at 87, you know,
No.
but
You got your 20s, you can go up there, but they go by twos.
but yeah, they're I feel like it's starting to spread out, you know what I mean? It's starting to spread out a
Yeah,
little
you
bit.
see it a
And
lot. I mean, more than anything, it's to display that we have that available.
mhm.
We're coming around.
Right, right. And I like it because too it's also accepting, I feel like, of Americans, like you're saying, like it's all coming around. Like Americans are not all the same. You know what I mean? Like you can go to Europe and they're not all the same either, but there's more of a majority. And I feel like we're getting to the point here where there is no majority. It's just all mixed up. We need a little bit of something for everybody nowadays here. So she is Miss Rebecca. She is actually a nationally, I'll say that again, nationally respected sexologist and social impact entrepreneur. Rebecca works with adults and teens to help them navigate a variety of sexual wellness topics and find holistic ways to maximize their sexual agency. She is a 2021 change maker and has been named a Latina trailblazer by Forbes. Again, we got Forbes on the mention for normalizing conversation about sexual wellness. Now, her company, we were just talking about her being a therapist and a mentor, but she actually has a company as well. In 2018, Rebecca founded Bloomy, the leading marketplace for inclusive, non toxic sexual wellness shopping and learning. Adding to this innovation, Bloomy created the first clean standard in the industry, which promotes ingredient transparency. And she actually has, I went on her site too. She actually has plant-based products for all you vegans out there and people who don't want to put chemicals and stuff like that in their body. Not only is her ingredients transparent, but they're also non-toxic, which is awesome. Her vision for Bloomy is to be a community inspired marketplace that enables people to live more satisfying lives. So I want to give a round of
On
applause for
her.
that. Even though I don't want to discredit Oprah at all because she has done monumental things, but I just feel like she's more known. Rebecca's on the rise, so I'd like to give her
Thank you.
kudos. Most definitely. So, Bloomy also, I did learn to looking into Bloomy. You can also, or actually, purchase that at Target, which is awesome to me. Like it's in a regular old store. It's not like you have to go on the website and only get it from her website exclusively on her stuff. You can go into Target and go check out her stuff right now. Go read the labels or what have you. So that's just awesome,
It is.
amazing.
It's inspiring, and know that there's no limit.
Yeah, there's no limit to
There's no limit
entrepreneurship.
at
You can
all.
do whatever you want.
And she still
And
has more. That's just her breaking.
right,
It's
right.
just amazing. It's a lot to take in myself, just because it's like I'm sitting here thinking like she did this, she did that, and I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I can do
You're like,
this.
oh,
I
I
can
gotta
do
step my stuff up now.
it.
Like, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it does help. It motivates me when I hear
Hmm.
success stories, because nothing stops me, nothing should stop you, nothing stops them.
Right,
So it's
right.
like, yeah.
Yes, yes. I'm thinking I'm gonna start doing more of the wacky wealth like this because, like I said before, in the beginning, it was more of like a entertainment segment to kind of have some chuckles. But I totally agree. These when I've been doing stories more like this, it is inspiring to hear about these entrepreneurs because we're all entrepreneurs here, and like you said, it opens up the door to let us know that anything is possible. You can be a realtor, you can be a podcast studio owner, you can be a what which one should I mention? You can be a vending machine company owner. You can be a podcast host. There's so many options out there, and if you're thinking about getting into entrepreneurship, take the risk. Just take the risk. You can be more like Noemi here and be a calculated risk taker like Oprah and Rebecca as well and Mr. Dip. Or you can play around like I do and go back and forth. Every once in a while, I just close my eyes and run and jump off the cliff. Sometimes.
You'll be good in Vegas. Go to the slot, to
Oh no, no,
the tables.
that's the point where I start thinking too much and thinking about the money.
Yeah.
But if when I get there, when the money starts coming in during my sleep,
Yeah.
that's when I'm gonna start going to
Yeah.
Vegas. Then at that point, yep. So the next segment we have now is the wealthy wisdom. So wealthy wisdom today is going to be a quote, which I also like to read kind of often. It's inspiring and it's motivating. So this quote today comes from I know I'm probably going to mess up her last name, but it comes from Lupita Nyong'o, who is one of the stars from Black Panther. So if you know who I'm talking about, if you're a Black Panther fan, Lupita, and she says it's only when you risk failure that you discover things. When you play it safe, you're not expressing the utmost. You're not experiencing. Why did I put expressing? You're not experiencing the utmost of your human existence. So she's saying, take the risk and fail. Sometimes you learn more from failing than doing your due diligence, I feel like. But if you're playing it safe the whole time, you're never going to experience your real existence. You have to take risk, whether it be entrepreneurship or like you were saying in the very beginning, even with your life in your own personal life and expectations, you got to take risks sometimes. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah, life, everything's a risk.
Everything, every
Everything
single
is a
thing.
risk, just how you handle it and how you take it. But
Hmm.
just like you mentioned, if there's no failure, everybody would be succeeding. You
Right,
make the plan,
right.
you do it, it's done. But yeah, but
And then what
what?
would life be like that? Like, then we'd all feel entitled because we
Right?
never fail. Like, what I failed, that doesn't happen. Let's
That's
we're doing this again. Rewind this. No,
that's
no, I don't fail.
that's a whole other way of looking at it, right?
Right, right. So yes, there has to be failure. There has to be, and then sometimes too, that's how you accidentally come across great things. Like just for instance, soda. Soda in the beginning was a medical use. They used that for medicine. It was for like upset stomachs and things of that nature. And they also used to put cocaine in Coca Cola for all you people that know about that. But you have your mistakes, you have your failures. Someone probably tried to use soda for something and it didn't work. And then they started backing off of it. There was kids out there probably running around on cocaine and
Mhm.
doing crazy stuff. And someone complained about that or just the side effects of it of repeatedly, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot, but if you drink that recipe of Coca-Cola for the next 10, 15 years of your life, you're ingesting that for the next 10, 15 years of your life. And it's going to be side effects, negative side effects. But soda in general is going to be negative side effects.
Yeah.
There's just so much sugar and
You don't
acidic,
need that in
and yeah,
your.
you don't really need it in your life anyways.
I 100% agree with that, but I crave it.
Yeah.
It's the ingredient.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, don't get me
A
wrong. Don't get
nice
me
cold
wrong.
soda,
Every once in a
or
while,
yeah.
I'll break down, but I've gotten really, really strict with myself on that. It's literally like maybe once every few months I'll have part of a soda. I can't even finish them nowadays because it's just too much
Just
sugar.
the taste. That's all
Yeah,
you need.
yeah. And I think it's just from our childhood, when we were younger, no one told us it's not good to drink soda, and we had it all. So it's more of a
Took a 2 liter outside when you were playing and just
right.
everybody shared
Yep,
it.
yep, yep. And they don't do that anymore. You're
No,
not
you
sharing
can't share it.
sharing no more. Nope, there's too much stuff going on. Too much COVID and all that stuff. But yeah, that's really, really crazy how things have changed like that. So I have a couple of more questions, and this is to the viewers and you, if you'd like to answer. Can you remember the last time you tried something new and felt great afterwards?
I I did try this a year ago, and I
Mhm.
recently did like probably 2 weeks ago, which is the cold plunge. When
Mhm.
you go into in my case, I go into my pool, which is like
Mhm.
50 degrees.
Ooh.
So yeah, and so I learned, like I mentioned, for 3 years now, I've been working on personal development myself, working on my morning routine, and it just sets my mind up for the day.
Mhm.
And at that time, I was introduced to breathing work and cold plunging. So I did it a
Mm.
year ago,
Oh,
and
together though? You're
yeah,
introduced to them.
I would do
Okay.
my breathing technique, and then I would do a cold plunge,
'Cause I
and I
hear they
did.
go hand in hand
Yeah,
pretty well,
it
right?
actually brings oxygen to your brain, and actually really mentally sets you for the
Okay.
initial coldness. And so I did it probably for 3 months,
Mhm.
uh, 3 times a week, and
Mm.
it was really good. It was, but then it got hot. I have to go
Mhm.
to a facility to go do that during
Yeah,
the
yeah.
summer, so I didn't do it anymore.
Mhm.
And now that I have no excuse because of the weather, and I did it again about 2 weeks ago, and I started,
Mhm.
and that was a whole new experience for me. The
Mhm.
shock
The
of
shock
that on your,
again, trying
yeah.
to, because you got probably,
I forgot
your
about it. Yeah.
tolerance probably plummeted
Yeah.
from taking the whole summer off, right?
Yeah.
So it was like doing it for the first time all
Yeah.
over again.
I used to brag that I did it 15 minutes. And,
Mhm.
I stayed underwater well, my head's above water, but I stayed
So, like, up to your chin
up to
about
my chin. Yeah, I'm standing in my pool.
Mhm.
And I think I did 3 minutes. And
3
then
minutes.
ever since, I've been doing a minute. I just do a minute. I actually
Just a
set my
minute.
alarm. That's all I can do right now.
Oh, yeah. Are you
Yeah.
gonna try to build back up to that 15?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Awesome,
I
awesome.
know that I can.
Oh, yeah, because you were
And
already there.
yeah, I've done it before. It's more of the time that I'm giving myself to do my practice every morning. I'm limiting
Mhm.
that to a minute, but yeah, I will be.
Okay, so once you get
Yeah.
readjust your schedule a little bit,
Yeah.
then you can start
Yeah.
testing it out and trying to
Yeah.
get back to that
Yeah.
15.
I
That's
will.
awesome.
I mean, I think 5 minutes is well, we don't need to do 15. I think I just
Yeah,
did
no, when you said
that.
15, I was like, "Dang, like,
No, that
really?"
was
Like
like my own personal record. But, to me, that was new, even
Mhm,
though I've done it before. It
mhm,
was new
mhm,
because it's a new experience. But I'm making it part of my morning practice so I can be more clear-headed every
mhm,
morning with my business plan, my day plan, my month, have everything out.
mhm.
So it helps. It does really
They
help
say
me.
it really helps with discipline as well. What
Your
about
mind.
what was that? I'm sorry?
Your mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, disciplining your mind and
your
being able
mind
to
is,
keep your body in
yeah,
that freezingness and
and
not
breathing and not thinking about it. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. What about you, Mr. Dip? Can you remember the last time you tried something new and felt great afterwards? Got that hit of dopamine?
Well, I'll believe it or not, I always try to do some things differently,
Mhm.
just because I like to try new things. But I can't say a certain time. But just I'm always doing it, man. So it kind of keeps me on my toes. You know what I mean? I just like to
Mhm,
do
mhm.
stuff. If I'm gonna do, I might brush my teeth left-handed for a week. You know what I
That's a
mean?
good
Just
one.
because I'm weird. I might do some left hand push ups for a week. You know, I'm just weird, man. So I just do
Don't
stuff
call
like
it
that.
weird. You're a risk taker, man.
Yeah, no,
You're a
no.
risk
I just
taker,
be
and you
doing
like
weird stuff.
or not risk taker, but you're trying to build that brain health. You're working
Yeah,
on that brain health
it's
with that
they
doing
always
the
say it keeps you
non-dominant and stuff like
young
that.
Mhm.
by
Mhm.
doing things like that, man. Just doing weird
Mhm.
stuff, man. And you may try to write left handed, and I'm okay with those type things. Like I'm pretty decent left handed just because I be trying weird shit. I'm just like I'm not gonna use my right at all. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
do it left handed. You know, but
Weird is good.
I
That's
think it
good.
makes it. It
Because
keeps you
I'm
young
horrible with my
trying.
right. I can't do. I am left-handed, so I'm horrible with my right.
Yeah.
I can write numbers, kinda, but like actually words and stuff, nah.
Yeah,
Oop,
I
look like
can write
chicken
a little
scratch.
okay left-handed. I try to any left-handed layups in basketball. I always try to do that type stuff.
That's a good one though
Yeah,
too.
Catching, throwing with my left hand. Just trying to get it
Mhm.
down. It's just using that side of your brain and body
Right.
because you're just so used to doing everything right-handed.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna
I
get
think
in
that's
on
fine.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
trying to do the
nah.
dominant or just the writing
Yeah,
one.
just using my left hand versus my right hand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Doing
Opening
different
the
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
door or
Yep.
interesting.
whatever.
Yep.
Mhm.
Just being cognizant, just trying different stuff, doing it differently.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that's good though. That's good. So you're constantly trying new things and feeling great afterwards.
Yeah, man. No, it's pretty dope. I
That's
think it's
awesome.
dope because it just makes you feel like you just relearning things.
Mhm.
Like I'll take the toothpaste off just with my left hand, just straight up.
Oh, you mean like the cap or
Untwist it.
whatever?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'll untwist it with my left. Like this is the way I want to do it with my left. And it's hard as fuck too. Especially trying to get it down
Right.
pack and do the twist
Because your brain's already wired to
to
do
do
it
it
this
with your
way.
right hand,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so you just doing it differently and saying, all right, I'm gonna grab this toothpaste with my right and I'm gonna untwist it left-handed. I'm just like, all right. You know what I'm
Yeah, you
saying?
think
Yeah.
about it, like even driving a car that's on the passenger
Oh, yeah,
side.
that's
Right.
Like your wipers are not on your left, they're
Right.
on the
They're on the
right.
they're on
right.
the right.
And everything
Everything is
Everything's
right-handed
switched,
because it's
yeah.
so set up for you to be thinking with that side. So
I always think whenever I see people in those foreign cars like that here, I'm like, how are you
yeah,
how are you
man.
doing that? Because you weren't trained like that.
Nah.
Unless there's a rare time when
I know I
somebody's
would get in a wreck.
come from another country
I
and
would
it
get in a
doesn't
wreck
work.
if I went over there because I'm such
Yeah.
everything is just I don't even think, dude.
Or
I
you'd
don't
be
think
that old
about
person.
driving.
You'd be that old person driving 10 under the speed limit all the time everywhere.
I'm
Like,
just saying I don't think about driving or which side of the road I'm on. Like so
right.
if you went
Going
over there and you
neutral.
had to start thinking about it,
Mhm.
oh man, dude, I probably would cause so many accidents because I'm
Seriously,
just
though.
so bad. I'm gonna tell this story real fast, man. We moved, so I was trying to get used to coming to my new place from work.
Mhm.
It took me at least a week of going to the wrong place.
What, you were going back
But
to the
yeah, going back to my old
old
place before I started getting my mind right to do turn now. Like
Right,
my
right.
automatically, I'm just on cruise control after work. I don't even think,
Right,
and I'm just
right.
going. And then I look up and I'm like, holy shit, dude, I don't live here anymore. But
You're
my
like at the
brain,
gate. Like,
yeah,
oh snap. This ain't my
yeah,
gate no more.
nah, it was bad. But just your brain is just I'm on cruise. I don't even
Mhm.
think about it. I just go. You know what I mean? And
Right,
then you're
right.
like, oh shit.
Especially when it's the end of the day.
Right.
Like you probably
Just
ain't really thinking
you don't
about
even
getting
think
home. You
about your
thinking about what you're gonna
turns.
do
You
when
don't
you
think
get
about which
there.
way you go. It's just natural. You don't
Mhm.
even think about that shit. But
That's why starting something new usually is hard
yeah.
Yep.
because you're so used to
So used to the
the
routine.
routine of what you
Yep.
do that when you know like this is going to bring you a lot of value, do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it and it doesn't feel right and uncomfortable. Like I'm not going to do well.
Right.
Get uncomfortable, do
Yeah.
it,
Get uncomfortable
and
and
you're
just
Yep.
do
going to
it.
get to a different
It's gonna
path.
help you.
Mhm.
It's gonna help you. It'll make you realize you think more. You're a little bit more you can also have a little bit more empathy for other people who are trying newer
Right,
things too,
right.
because you see for yourself, I can't do this shit left-handed. It's gonna take me a while. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And just going home, me taking my normal route, me getting out of that route.
Mhm.
It took, actual thinking, like you know what I'm saying? It's
Like
kind of
actual
crazy.
gotta
Yeah.
don't get off on Thunderbird. Don't get
Right.
off on Thunderbird.
So yeah, man. The brain is a crazy thing, man. And you have to do things to try to keep it sharp.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beat it.
So I would say mine, the last thing I tried, it wasn't necessarily something new, but it was more of something going back to. So mine is music. I listen to a lot of hip hop and I listen to a lot of I guess you could just say EDM type music. So I'm doing this. I tried it a while ago, just taking out hip hop, but now I'm doing only like R&B and soul. And my mood has changed a little bit again. And the one of the better things about it for me actually is I'm remembering that I like all these songs and it's all these memories are popping up like, oh man, I remember being if you guys remember, I remember being at Rolero and listening to this song. Oh my God, I remember being at the mall. I remember being with these people and these people. So you get that great feeling after hearing that song, some Boys to Men come on or something
yeah.
like that. And I'm like, oh man, I remember watching these music videos back in the day when I used to just sit at home and watch MTV and BET all
Oh, yeah.
day and just so that's my little something new.
I
But
like that you
well, not
said
new, but
Rolero, not Great
yeah.
Skate. Right? Yeah, I know.
I've always hated Grace. I
Yeah.
mean, Grace Grade's
Yeah.
great because it's the only one that's
Out there.
West now, so it's great. But man, I knew Mark and Tom and Beth all by first name, the owners and the manager. Like I was there that often that when I walked in, they were like, hey Elijah, hey Mark, how's it going? Man, I lived at Rolero. And then I had one other question, and this also can be for both of you guys and the viewers. So actually, viewers, go ahead and chime in. You can either message me or you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, or what have you. Can you remember the last time you tried something new and felt great afterwards? So you can go ahead and chime in. I do reply, so don't feel shy. You can reply on YouTube, on Facebook, or what have you. And then the second question, is there a risk you've been hesitant about and what's holding you back? So is there any current risk right now? And I don't want to necessarily ask you the second part, but I'll rephrase it for you because I know and Dip, you guys are kind of different risk takers.
Yeah.
So is there a risk that you've been hesitant about, and are you educating yourself currently about it? Because I know it's not something that's holding you back,
Yeah.
or if it is, that's what it is. It's because you guys don't feel like you're educated enough, or you don't feel comfortable about making the logical decision on this risk yet. So is there anything at the moment right now that you're thinking about maybe doing your due diligence for
Yeah,
pretty
well,
soon?
my business has always been that structure. So I'm not a big social media. I know how to take selfies, get pictures, and post them,
Mhm.
right? But being in real estate, there's a lot of other stuff that comes with it, with its
Mhm.
marketing and all that. And I have not tapped into that 100%.
Mhm.
And it works for some, it works for others. I'm grateful that I have business without having to do it. However, that is somewhere I need to tap into, and I know I
Mhm.
have to do. I don't know how to do it, but I know I can
Mhm.
hire somebody and pay them to do it.
Right, right.
It's just taking that step,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and there's nothing holding me back other than just taking action.
Taking action.
Yeah, and then and just getting it down to the way I wanted, and
Not sure if the boys are listening, but, mom might have a job for
yeah,
going to the younger
yeah.
generation, they might be the ones to teach you how to use all that TikTok and
You would
Instagram and all
think.
that. Oh, they're not big on
They're
social
not
media?
they're not big. I
Uh,
don't I
I was
don't
trying to help you
understand.
guys out,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, I don't understand. Sometimes he has like I don't know, it's 700 followers and just one picture. I'm like,
Yeah, like, how'd
how'd you
you
do
yeah, yeah.
that?
Yeah, because I'm here and there, and I got this one, thing on my Instagram right now that's, like, blowing up, and I don't know why. Like, I did they call it a remix or whatever of another post, and it's going crazy, but my followers haven't changed. All my other posts haven't changed on, like, the likes on the views or anything, but I have this other thing that's over here, and it's at, like, 8,000 views, 2,500 likes on there, and I'm just like, "What? How do I redo this? I wanna do this more often." I can't figure it
I
out
would say
though.
just repost that video too, but it also you don't know who's in your network. They posted
Mhm.
it to one person and that person,
That's what I think it
it
might be
just
happening or
yeah,
something, like, it's getting shared somehow or
yeah.
something, but I don't know, the last, like, 2 weeks, I wake up or not wake up, but I'll go on my Instagram and I'll have, like, 100 likes, and then I get all excited, I'm like, "Oh, snap, what is this?" Oh, it's all that one post. All 100 likes are that one post. Um, so Mr. Dip, sir, is there a risk that you've been hesitant about, but aren't, fully comfortable well, how did I word it? Fully comfortable because of your current education on the matter? Because I know just like Miss Noemi,
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily something that's holding you back, per se, but, I know you guys don't really like to take your risk unless you do your due diligence and you have your education
I
and you're
have.
a little bit like that.
I mean, I have a couple of things I'm I have on the back burner, but mostly is comic books, art type stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah, I do remember
I
you
like
mentioning that.
drawing, I like writing, but I keep putting it on the back burner. I got a lot of stuff going on, man, but
Yeah.
I need to go ahead, jump in and get it done and finish it up, and get my stuff done. I just never finished the whole comic. So it's a lot of I need to learn, you know, and I wish I had, somebody to kind of walk me through that was with me that kind of knew what they were doing
Mhm.
because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't want to put something out that's bad quality because I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I
I
mean?
got you.
So that's a big one for me, man. Just finishing this book up. I have the idea, and I keep going back and starting over, and in my mind because I don't do it on paper. It's just all mental. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm just thinking about it and where I'm at, and I just like, you know what? I want to start over. It's so hard, man. It's just hard. Books are hard. That's why it
Yeah.
takes a long, long time. And especially when you want to make that book into a comic. You know what I mean? It's easy
Right,
to
right.
just write the situations, but then you got to have the art also besides the writing. And you
Mhm.
have to make sure that matches. You got to make sure everything has the right look that you're going for. It's just a
Mhm.
lot, man. And I don't know, I just keep putting it back because I know it's gonna take full fledged me going hard on it.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I got the time to do it, but I
Right.
think I'm really procrastinating. So
Well, I don't know. I
Listen, don't
mean,
be so hard on yourself.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
you're saying that it's all this. I'm like, ask for support. Have
Yeah,
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
review it. You never know who's in your inner
Mhm.
circle that knows somebody and
yeah,
knows somebody.
I
Yeah.
That's
need to
exactly
do
what I was gonna
something.
say. You kinda sound like you're in my boat when it comes to, like, the mentorship. Like,
Hmm.
as far as, trying new things, that's been on my mind for a few years now, and, like, for me, it's kinda scary for me to take that risk and try to find mentorship because well, for me personally, I don't really have a specific lane I'm in right
Right.
now anyways to even find someone to mentor me, but I just with entrepreneurship, it's good to have somebody kinda there to help mentor you and kinda answer your questions instead of having to do your own education all the time and go on Google or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kinda cool to be able to just call
Well, that
somebody
shit
up and
takes
be
time
like,
too, though. So
you know? But also too on the book thing, um, I'm actually working on a book as well. I don't know where I really wanna go as far as, like, comics or anything like that. I haven't even thought about any illustrations or anything like that. But if you would like any advice on the matter, Mr. Dip, sir, I've just been picking at it, man. Like, mine might be a little bit different than yours, though,
mm,
because mine is based on a superhero that I've always wanted to be. But the superhero, I'm kinda changing his story up to be like mine, but in a super powered world, kind of in a sense. So when certain parts of it come to fruition in my mind, I
hmm
just jot it down. Well, it's on my phone. So I just throw it down on my phone and then I just go back. I've been working on it for probably about I think about 2 years now. And I think I'm almost at a chapter. But
Good
it's
job.
it's it's because I haven't but it's because just like Dip said, like, I haven't sat down and actually put 100% focus on it. I know if I sat down and tried to bang it out, I could probably do a I don't wanna say a chapter or whatever, but I could do get a decent amount of it done if I sat down and focused 100% on it. But just like Dip, I just have so many other things going on right now. It's kind of like when I have time, or it's more of when it hits me, and I don't want to lose it. It's like, okay, this idea for the story came in my head right now. Da, 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 da. That sounds really good. I need to write it down before I forget it because I always have so many other things going on in my head. But that's good though. Like we should all encourage each other. I can
Say
we
make
can
some
help.
time. You have the time. It's just adjusting your
Yeah, I have to
schedule
adjust
and
my
and
schedule.
hmm
and
Yep.
and making a non-negotiable time for it, even if it's an hour of your day or an hour of your week. This
Mhm.
time, this day is reserved for my book. And it's
Right.
non-negotiable.
Mhm.
Somebody calls you, let's go out for lunch. I'm like, that's the hour
Nope,
I
that's
have
my
for my
time.
book. Yeah.
Right, right.
And it's those little steps like that that will get you to know that. Because I've always thought in my mind in the past is like I'm stuck.
Mhm,
I'm stuck. I don't know what I want in life. I don't know. And it was not, I'm stuck. It's like, what am I passionate for?
mhm.
Is it really a hobby or a passion of mine?
Right,
And
right.
and I just started changing in the way of my thinking.
Mhm.
And
And
I
actually,
just
that's why I don't wanna, like, walk away from it at all because I know writing is a passion of mine. I've been an MC, I've been a poetry, I've written books when I was younger, short books, and, I just enjoy writing. Like, I enjoy putting my imagination on paper is what it really is, not necessarily the act of writing. I just enjoy sharing my imagination is what it really is. But also for all you viewers out there, same question. Is there a risk you've been hesitant about and what's holding you back? And like I said before, you can answer on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you're watching, on my Instagram too, if you want to answer. You guys are more than welcome to answer. And I think we're getting kind of close. So we're getting to my favorite segment of the show, which is We Building Boy. So today on We Building Boy, we have our lovely guest today, Miss Nohemi. Um, I didn't pronounce the H right. No, I
You're
didn't.
good. No,
I
me.
think I felt like I almost pronounced it. We're gonna let her, because she has a lot going on as well. We're gonna let her plug all her businesses and any other activities or events that you have going on right now. Is there anything you'd like to share with the viewers?
Yes, with our brokerage, the Russ Lyon Foundation has chooses a foundation every year, and this year is Arizona Helping Hands. They are having a toy drive, and this is going to be providing for over 12,000 foster kids who are currently
Nice,
here in
nice.
the state of Arizona.
12,000.
12,000.
Nice.
You go about life and you don't really think of all the other families in our community who are
Mhm,
really in need of help. So that will be taking place 15, 16, 17. But you can call me as well. I can give you more information regarding that. So
mhm,
we are collecting toys and also adopt a student. So I have information from, let's see, the Wilson School in Phoenix. They're off 30th Street in Van Buren.
mhm.
And currently they have 25 students. This is their fifth annual for Homeowners Financial. It's a lending company. They have, this is their fifth year doing this.
Mhm. Nice, nice.
And you adopt a student and you get their
Okay.
wish list, their Santa list.
Oh,
And so you
nice,
get to provide,
nice.
and if you're unable to buy that, you can donate that. Last I checked about 3 days ago, they still had 13 students that needed to be adopted.
Excuse me.
So you can reach out to me, and for donations as well, we'll take those. And
Awesome,
it's great
awesome.
because after you get to buy their wish list, you get to meet them at a 2-hour party that the school's going to
Oh,
host.
cool.
So
And then do you do the exchange there, or
yes,
do you just kinda drop them off at the school and
you
then they're like
you can do the exchange
you can do
there.
the
Yeah,
exchange there? That's
yeah,
awesome, awesome. I never heard about that.
yeah.
Adopt a
So
student for Christmas. That's
yeah,
cool.
and it's this is for the first graders at Wilson School.
Oh, and it's first graders.
Yes.
That's awesome. I was
Yeah.
thinking it was gonna be like junior high or something like that, or
No, this is Miss Delano's class, 25 students. And that
25 students. Miss
yes,
Delano?
Delano.
Miss Delano's class, 25 students. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. And they're
So this
still looking
is
for about 13, you said?
yes.
13 students. Just so all you guys know, I like to repeat when we're dropping things like this.
Mhm.
So
That was the last count. That was a couple of days ago.
a couple days
So
ago. So it could
I'm
be at like
sure it
10
could.
or so, but
But yeah, any donations help also to
mhm.
provide for their wish list. And also we do have a hardware store off 27th Avenue in Osborne, and it's
Okay.
a local hardware, so support local. We have pretty much
Yes, yes.
everything.
Support local
Yeah,
entrepreneurship.
yeah.
Definitely.
And that's what I have for that.
All righty. Awesome, awesome. So then if they do want to contact you with about any of that stuff, how could they contact you?
By calling me or texting me at 602-475-1719
Okay.
or emailing me at noemi.beerwalter@russlion.com.
Okay. No problem, no problem. And then just for all those people who are halfway listening, can we get that phone number one more time?
602-475-1719.
And then email?
Noemi, it's Nohemi dot Beerwalter, BIERWALTER @russlion.com.
Awesome, awesome. And let's give a round of applause for everything that you're doing. I'm really happy to have you on the show today. And I love the fact that, like you were saying before, you realize that your passion is actually helping. The money brought you in, but the passion is keeping you here. And that's amazing. I love people who like helping people, who participate in philanthropy. There, I said it right
Yeah,
that
there
time.
you go. Yeah, it's all about giving more and receiving less in the
Hmm.
matter of you don't expect something in return.
Hmm.
But the universe has a great way of just returning it to you in
Yeah,
tenfold. So
definitely.
it also changed my relationship with money in that
Hmm.
manner. That what the more I'm willing to give away to help somebody else or to do,
Hmm.
the more they came back to me. I was able to use
I was
that to
actually
help
just
other people.
what's that guy's name? Darn, I'm gonna blank his name right now. But I was just listening to a guy the other day, and he was explaining people who like to spend, and it's or people who don't like to spend, and sometimes that's an easier way to get you more comfortable with spending is to give, and then it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
But it was more about spending for yourself because it was the guy came in with a dilemma. He said he had his emergency fund and he has a beater vehicle and he's tired of dealing with the beater problems, oil change, or the oil leak, and
I didn't
always
know
at the
that
mine and
part.
all that stuff. You know what I mean? And he's saying, he's like, I have the money.
Bro,
Yes.
you're like 15 over now.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So dude wanted to spend the money. He wasn't sure how. He said, give.
Yeah.
That's the story. But I'm going to give another round of applause for our lovely guest, Miss Nohemi. Thank you for coming in and
Thank you.
speaking with us today. We're going to get one more for the engineer of all engineers, Mr. Dip to the lean.
Yo.
And
Get it
then
going.
last but not least is for y'all. Peace. Thank you for viewing.